We'll do a bunch of stuff. I love that tune.
Good evening and welcome to Field Talk, guys. Sorry for the lack of content recently. Again, as it turns out, winter is quite a bit of work at the ranch. So tonight I want to go ahead and talk just a little bit about the priestly class. And I know it's a little bit different from my normal naming conventions, the title for tonight's stream, but I just wanted to have a little bit of a less formal rant, less structured. I haven't really thought very much about what it is I want to say, but I watched that video. I'm sure you've seen it by now of Tim Cook at the ADL. Tim Cook at that ADL thing, whatever it was, getting the award for something or other against hate. Anyway, in addition to that nonsense, there was quite a lot of other nonsense going on. Well, maybe not all of it was nonsense, but I did notice that Jupiter over there in France is a lot less like Jupiter than he thought, and being the god over the Gauls is not as easy as he thought it would be. They're really galled by how galling he's been. So I couldn't actually get the am I speaking into the wind? Guys, am I not giving you guys audio? Alright, I'm going to do the thing that I know I shouldn't do. Everybody blame B West. Isn't this going? Why is it not working? Am I on? Am I on, guys? Is it working? It says I'm streaming. What the heck's going on? Okay. There we go. There we go. I think I'm back. My back. There we go. I think I fixed it, guys. Guys, did I fix it? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, the type starvation in the chat. If you can't hear me, type genocide in the chat. Okay, I see someone saying, there we go. Welcome back to the Ryan Fights with Technology show, guys. Alright, so starvation and genocide. There we go. Okay. So, I'm sure you all remember. I want to talk. Let me just go ahead and repeat what I was saying to nobody just now. There's been quite a lot of nonsense going on recently, from this whole Kevin Hart nonsense to Tim Cook at the ADL nonsense to, oh gosh, there's just so much of this kind of outrage mob tomfoolery going on in the world. And and going back to the title of the show, I was thinking that there hasn't really been an age without a priestly class, and that is the class of people who dictate morality to the rest of us, whether they have earned that position or not. Now, say what you will about the Catholic Church, and I will say quite a lot of things about them. I happen to dislike them. But so far as I can tell, at the very least, you can be forgiven by their priests. The priests of the religion of social justice, on the other hand, they demand total destruction. They want you to be entirely socially alienated, and they want you economically destroyed, and they wouldn't lose a wink of sleep if one of their victims starved to death on the street. In fact, I think that they might derive some kind of sick pleasure from that. And so when I heard when I heard Tim Cook standing there in front of the Anti-Defamation League talking about how it would be a sin to not censor people, a sin to, because we all have an innate morality, or innate sense of wanting to know right from wrong. That annoying, pretentious moron. That absolute condescending. And the thing is when you condescend from below, he condescends from beneath me. has no position to tell me what morality is, anything about right and wrong. He has factories in which children die from exposure to chemicals. So I think that he can just take his morality and stick it where the sun does not shine. Condescension is bad enough, but when someone condescends to you from beneath you, I find it absolutely insufferable. It doesn't matter to me that he manages to keep Apple from. The worst thing is he's not even leading a company into prosperity. What he's doing is he's managing the decline of Apple. Every year their products get worse. Every year their sales go down. Every year their market share goes down. Every year their stock price goes down. And he's managing the decline. He's making it go slowly. Samsung is creeping up on them in the phone market. And I think that Kyle is the only person who actually prefers Apple computers at this point. It's going to take a miracle to get that company back on the right track. Good point, Big Drum Bear. I gotta catch a replay. You've been streaming a little bit earlier, and I've been sleeping a little bit in. That's how we've been missing each other, but I'll try and catch your replays. So, yeah, and then Gavin McInnes has been mysteriously disappeared from CRTV, even though his show is like the third most popular on there after Crowder and the Duck Guy. So I don't and why? Because it's been merged with The Blaze. And, well, I mean, it was good while it lasted. How long until Crowder gets fired by the bawling Mormon, by the the crying neocon? Like, I find it very difficult to believe that Glenn Beck has changed his tune. I find it incredibly suspect that his failing Blaze has latched on to the growing CRTV. And I don't think that it's good for CRTV in the slightest. And I think something really shady has gone down. I think something really, really shady has gone down. And, I noticed something last weekend. Is I kind of missed Not Gay Jared. I noticed that but in this interim, waiting for Crowder to return. He was an underappreciated part of the show, I think. I hope he can rejoin. I hope he can rejoin the show soon. That would be pretty cool. But we've got these anyway. Back to this idea of the priesthood, and the strangest things are sins. I mean, you've got someone who like straight up ran over a chick in a car, but is totally okay because it's Caitlyn Jenner, who is a brave and beautiful Flamin who used to be a men's, but is now a Flamin, and it's hate speech to just great. Levin and Jew wanted to buy Steven Crowder. Now that's an interesting theory there. I'll check it out. The Last Movement. Is it a new one or is it an old one? I'll get back into the structure of the show tomorrow. I managed to actually make my dinner early enough to eat it today instead of chopping up firewood instead of coming in here to do this work. Oh no, no, I'm not criticizing Jared's decision to focus on his family at all. I just kind of miss him on the show. That's all. That's all. I think he's really good. I don't think people appreciate. I'm sure that actually Crowder and Owen and the team over there appreciate him plenty. But the fans, I don't think appreciated him as much as he deserves. But maybe he is very happy. Maybe he's got more fans now that people see the difference in the show quality without him there. And it's because he's a really funny dude, and he's sharp. And even though he looks like a walking skeleton, he's got a really positive energy around him. It's great. Yeah, Crowder's ducked out. I know that Crowder's ducked out to deal with his health issues. Like, when Owen talks about how much Crowder works, I think about my dad, and sometimes my dad will work for like 48 hours straight. He's like a madman. He can't do that anymore because he's pretty old now. Well, not that old. He's not even 50 yet, but he's still just not young anymore, you know? And so Crowder, the way he's always on top of things, I'm pretty sure that he saw this coming, and like he's getting his stuff ready. Like, if Glenn Beck is going to start leaning on his show the way he used to lean on Matt Walsh, and I bet you Matt Walsh is really annoyed at this point because he joined CRTV to get away from the Blaze, and now the Blaze has come to eat where he left to. It's got to be really annoying to him. But if he starts getting leaned on like that, I don't imagine that Glenn Beck knows what he's getting into. He thinks that he can. If he thinks he can control Steven Crowder, that would not work in his favor in the slightest. But I think that Glenn Beck might actually be a member of this priestly class, except on the so-called right. I think that he's supposed to, or he was supposed to. Quarter Black is cool. Yeah, but no one can pretend to be an Antifa chick like Jared can, and it's because he's a walking skeleton. Yeah, and I think that this move, um, the Blaze taking over CRTV is a part of the corporate takeover of YouTube, which is why everyone should go and subscribe to PewDiePie to keep T Series from overtaking him. Keep YouTubers on top and corporations on bottom where they belong. They can be power bottoms if they want, but they just have to know who's on bottom in this relationship. So I think that Glenn Beck is actually a member of the priestly class, but I think that his role isn't to necessarily point and and holler outrage like, say, Jack Dorsey's supposed to. Although Jack has been in a little bit of trouble recently due to some old tweets that have been dug up, as well as that Smash Brominical patriarchy sign. Um, like, he should have stuck by that, actually, except for the patriarchy bit. The caste system in India is not good. It is terrible. Yeah, Glenn. Well, that's why I think that he's actually a member of the priestly class. Uh, his hatred of Trump, the vitriol that he displayed, I think was totally undue. And wasn't he like a Jeb Bush guy as well? No, I haven't even looked up a Florida man story for tonight, Boulder Bear. I wasn't very I wasn't very prepared. I would just wanted to have a little bit of an informal kind of chat about this priestly idea because I don't. Does anyone know how Buddhist priests work? I mean, do they just like talk about the teachings of the Buddha or whatever? Do they point and condemn people? I kind of know how imams work. They're kind of like priests, but the thing is they can mete out punishments. The imams can. Maybe the social justice people are more like imams than they are like priests, because priests in most in Judaism and Christianity, I don't consider a priesthood in Christianity to be quite biblical, but say some priestly traditions in some creeds of Christianity, say it like that, they were in general quite forgiving when someone transgressed against what are considered to be sins in Judaism and Christianity. And in Judaism, you had to, provide the sacrifices, true, but most of the time you weren't stoned to death unless you broke a really terrible one in Judaism. And in Christendom, most people were executed for crimes against the king, not necessarily sinning. Like a little bit of a different kind of way it went. So, but when it comes to, it's like a caricature of how they think a religious leader acts. Like, because they don't lead anyone. They just they don't they don't want to help anyone grow or change or change their perspective or become more tolerant or do any of that. They don't want anyone to improve in any way at all, because if anyone steps a single toe out of line, if anyone makes even the most minor infraction, you get your home address doxed. You get people outside yelling at you. You get your social media inundated with "kill yourself." You get PayPal saying that you can't do business on PayPal. You get YouTube banning you. You get Facebook, Twitter banning you. You get Stripe not processing payments for your website. You get Alex Jones, basically, and this has just happened to, like, Gavin McInnes is the latest Alex Jones, and like why aren't people getting this? I really don't understand. This seems to be pretty obvious. Like, so much of what we do is online. Like right now, I'm talking to you guys online, and someone will no doubt be watching this later. Go ahead, drop your thoughts in the comments. If you see anything on the chat that you agree with, let me know as well. Maybe you can even have a conversation down there later. That would be cool, wouldn't it? We do like talking to each other. Well, I've been rather busy lately. Holidays. It should ease up after the new year. That would be nice. Anyway, it's all online. All of us are so far away from each other. We can form little communities over our connections that allow us to communicate across the globe, and it's quite amazing and beautiful, powerful. But when you get this like small group of elites who can just over one day take it all away from you, I find that unacceptable. It's not And it doesn't seem to be a normal, natural sort of thing. Now, I'm going to. We all know the website that must not be named, also called Tumblr, the den of depravity and degeneracy that it is. It had an apparition of an unacceptable image upon it, or several. I'm not quite clear on this story. There's not very much confirmation, but allegedly that's what happened. There were exploitative images of children found on the website. Now, any kind of platform website, you're going to get that. And so, what most websites do is they implement an algorithm that checks images against an FBI database of known exploitative images. And if there's a match, then that gets flagged down and it calls the FBI automatically, and everyone is really, really happy. And the FBI goes and nabs the guy. But the problem is with new images. The algorithm can't tell that an image is exploitative because it doesn't match any of the things in its database. Right? It's not even comparing things that are similar because it might accidentally send the FBI to look at a midget fetish kind of page. And like the FBI might be into that, but not the way that they're into catching bad guys. So it's like, which way are they going to go with that? But when Apple found out that the exploitative images were found on the website, what they did was they threatened to take Tumblr off of, also known as the Den of Depravity and Degeneracy, off of the iOS App Store. And, well, it's like, yeah, it's pretty bad that that was found, but it's not like Tumblr was doing it on purpose, guys. And they were doing the FBI thing anyways. Why are you so upset? I don't understand. It's like, as much as I dislike the Den of Depravity and Degeneracy, and all of their weird lefty commies over there, as much as I dislike them, it's like they were doing all of the things. They were, and they had your wacky TOS on their website as well, Apple. What's the deal? I don't understand what the deal is with that. But as we all know, if there's no, it's either no reaction or overreaction with these people. And so what they did is they decided to get rid of all of the prawn. And like, fair enough, you don't want to have a website with a bunch of degeneracy on it, but you didn't bill yourself as that. There are people on the Den of Depravity and Degeneracy there who made their entire online success on that platform on the back of lewd or nude photographs of themselves, or even explicit acts that they performed in video. Like, apparently it's a really big deal, and the left is freaking out. And I saw a really hilarious meme is where, like, they're putting the Christian cross on the Tumblr T, and it's like, well, the hilarious thing to me is, of course, that Christians didn't have a thing to do with this, buddy. You think that Christianity holds sway over Apple? No, Tim Cook is the priest of his own religion, and it's not Christianity. And as much as it's important for people to understand the difference between right and wrong, as important as morality is, and as important as ethical code to follow is, I think there's something inherently dangerous about individuals using their positions of power to dictate those to other people, especially if that position of power was attained not through moral excellence, not through ethical conduct, but through business acumen. Yeah, that's another thing that happened last moment. Sargon is getting Alex Jones at the moment by Patreon because he called I can't say the naughty word on the YouTubes. I don't think. I'd rather say it, but he called a bunch of Nazis white the unspeakable words. And that's what they're saying. And Lauren Southern was banned off of Patreon for, quote, manifest observable behavior because she participated in a protest that lit some flares in front of an empty NGO ship that then turned and went around them. It was a publicity stunt and everyone knew it. No one was in danger. No one was anywhere close to getting hurt. There was no chance that anyone would die from her actions. It was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And now this. And Big Bear called it when he went on the. Because Patreon tried to ban him for like a minute, remember? Patreon tried to ban Owen for a little while there at the beginning. Didn't give any sufficient reason. I think it was over the bike song. I mean, not my favorite joke. It's just not my favorite joke, but I can see why it's funny. Like, and it's not anything to be banning people, but it's just a joke. It's silly. It's not even. It's on the face of it, not serious. The whole thing. Yeah. Trying to find anything on Owen's channel is a pain, though, isn't it? I bet you. Base Texan knows where it is, though. You'll probably get him to find it. Yeah, because he went on the Rubin Report and said that unless you're like doing money laundering uh or something illegal, then you don't have anything to worry about. And what did Sargon do? What did that other guy do? Nothing. Nothing. And who's been suspiciously quiet about all that? Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson and face Eric Weinstein. They're not talking about people who've been Alex Jones. They're not really talking about Gavin McInnes, are they? Or Sargon? Or any of the people who've sinned against social justice. I think that they've been captured. But I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, well, no word from Rogan about this. And Sargon's gone on Joe Rogan's show a couple times as well. I mean, it's like Guys, we need you. This is not the time. This is not the time to wait to stay on the fence. It's just not the time. Oh, I didn't see that the last movement. I don't go on Twitter very much because, as you know, they don't like me. And so I can't have it on my phone. So I only can go on Twitter when I come in here, and I haven't been coming in here very much. But if he said something about Sargon, that's good. But, you know, my point still stands, is this is not the time to sit on the fence. This is not the time to go, oh, well, they're just well-meaning. It's like, no. It's not well-meaning to try and destroy somebody's livelihood. It's not. There's nothing well-meaning about it. You know what? I despise communists. I despise them to my very core. In fact, I can name a communist right now who I would take. Well, no, I wouldn't take any pleasure, but I would not be very sad if I saw her get hurt in a hilarious way, like slipping on a banana peel and well, maybe not anything serious, but like um, slipping on a banana peel and getting a whole bunch of paper cuts on her. That would be like that. That would be. I wouldn't feel very bad for her at all, and that would be Alexandria Octopus Cortez. I'm Alexandria Octana Cortez. Whatever. Anyway, that one. I would never try and interrupt where she gets her money from. Ever. That's just cruel. That's just not okay. I'm just like, I don't want her to starve. No. I'd like her to shut up, please. I'd like her to crack open Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. I would like her to maybe understand that you can't just make free things appear in the world and not pay for them. I would like those things. But I would never try and make her destitute. I would never send people to her house to protest her. I would never do any of that stuff. And yeah, Cortez is dumber than a box of tissues. I would never do any of that to her. But the priests of social justice hand down this sentence from on high as if they have the right and the power to do it. And while they have one of those, it's all quite frustrating to me that this is even on the table for some people. Like, this isn't a left-right thing. This should just be a human thing. It's like, no, you don't do that to people. You just don't. It's an awful thing to do. And you shouldn't do awful things to people. But the thing is, I don't think that the Grand Water Buffalo and I'm Better Than You Cast Barrett and Tim Cook and Jack Dorsey and Zach the Robot the Bird, I don't think they actually view us as human beings. I think they view us as malfunctioning cogs that need to be switched out, regardless of what happens to us, to be changed out and thrown away. I think that's what they view us as. I think that they view themselves as the mechanics of the world, and everyone else is just a cog in the machine that they're building. And I think that's a dim way to look at the world, but I think it's an awfully dim way to look at the world. But let's I want to talk just a little bit about this yellow vest stuff before I sign off. Now, I've been hearing all kinds of things about the yellow vest protests. I've been hearing that they're anti-EU. I've been hearing they're pro-EU. I've been hearing they're far right. But the one thing that's been consistent is they all despise Macron. And France is awash in protests and riots right now because they didn't listen. When people warned them about socialism, they didn't listen. When people warned them about open borders, they didn't listen. When people warned them about the EU, they didn't listen. And now they found themselves in a vassalage to Germany with a Jupiterian president and a failing economy. So, what's the deal? Well, I think like step one is going to have to be Macron. It just has to go. I don't care where he goes. He just can't in order for France to be anything that's at all in order for France to be anything that's at all close to some semblance of peace, Macron just can't be the president. There's got to be a whole new government. I suggest snap elections, but who knows if anyone's going to listen to me or somebody like me about this. It's fairly obvious to me that the more they suppress people at this point, the more they're just going to galvanize the populace against them. When you have 3/4 of the population in support of rioters, you've got a major problem on your hands, and beating the problem with batons is not going to help things. Yeah, well, the thing is, the last movement, the French, they believed people when they said that Le Pen was a crazy warmonger and horrible racist, sexist, homophobe, evil white. Well, she's not a man, but she might as well be, I guess. And she was a little bit too socialisty for me, and the nationalism and socialism put together tends to not go very well. But at least she gave it. At least she cares about France, unlike Macron, who thinks that he just needs to change France for the new era, the new world, the new global economy, and France just needs to change for it. I don't think it's very good. And it's of course the funny thing is, I'm sitting here and I hear about this rioting going on in France. I'm like, oh, it must be Tuesday. What is it about this time? And I find out it's because they're adding a gas tax, and it's risen the price of gas to $8 a gallon. And I'm here in California going, $8 a gallon. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and it sounded like that when I said it, but I might be remembering it wrong, but it was ridiculously high, and no wonder. It doesn't matter where you are; you'd be on the street, you'd be mad. Obviously, I think it's a silly idea to start smashing up local businesses and your neighbors' cars, but well, it's France, and the French are French, so the French will French. And so, but the thing is if Macron had just said, "Well, yeah, we can't raise," all right, fine. The thing is the country's in debt, so we got to do something. I can cut some spending, or I can have the gas tax. You guys pick. And the population was just probably on it with one or the other, and stopped rioting until next week. But Jupiter over there decided it would be a good idea to call them all thugs. Yeah, be West. I noticed that some of them are socialisty and some of them are capitalisty, but everyone just agrees that Macron is terrible. It's like that's the only thing that the French can agree on is how terrible their president is. It's a little bit amusing to me, and the what I find just so very droll is 3 weeks ago the mainstream media was awash in articles about how great Emmanuel Macron is, Jupiter, and is talking about how he was even more alpha than Trump, but without being such a bore. But I don't think that's quite how things have gone. I think that, you know, I did watch the video of Trump brushing the dandruff off of Macron's shoulder, and it's like, yeah, he's got a little dandruff. He was a really special guy. And anyone who thinks that anyone who thinks that Emmanuel Macron was the anyone who thinks he was the alpha in that situation is a little bit touched in the head. So I'm going to call it there. I would like another bowl of soup, so I'm going to go eat some more soup. You guys have been great. I will do the promotional stuff for the show tomorrow. Tell your friends, it'll be great. And I will have tea so that my voice does a little bit better. You can hear my voice is already tired after just talking for an hour. With no tea. And that's another thing that was wrong. But I need to wash my teapot. If you enjoyed the stream, you can subscribe, share, tell your friends, hit the like button, all that grand stuff. You can also buy a Christmas present for yourself or someone you love. The link in the description below, or you can send me a Christmas present at paypal.me/fieldtalk. Please, I need money. I'm poor. No, seriously, I really do need some cash. Help me out, guys, please. So, all that great stuff. And as always, never forget that socialism always ends with starvation. Have a great evening, guys.